guys, this is Kimberly with Mezzo Makeover. Welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to come on and try to get started again with doing my videos. I'm just doing a neutral eye look that I normally would do for every day going to work. And so here you see me doing filling in my brows and adding a tail to my brows. Uh, I'm using the Colourpop Precision Brow Pencil in black brown. The ends of my brows, they just eventually disappeared. It is hereditary. My mom's brows are the same way, as well as my younger sister. So I have to draw those on. This is a wonderful pencil, and I'm so glad that Colourpop restocked them finally. Now you see me cleaning up my brows. I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer in Honey. This particular concealer, I really like it, but the shade that I got is way too neutral for me to use it under my eyes, either as a corrector or as a highlight. And so I have decided to not let it go to waste and use it to clean up my brows, and also I use it as an eye base. Excuse me. As you will see in a few minutes, I'll be using it as an eye base. I think it's still really neutral for me, but because I'm just using it as an eye base, the neutral tones of it don't really come through because I'm putting shadow over it. And so again, here I am using it to just even out the skin tone, or the color of my eyelids. So next I'm going to be applying my primer, and the primer that I'm using is the Avon Tone Up primer in Lumiere. This particular primer I really like because it is a primer that is hydrating, and that's something that's important to me at this age. Although I do still have oily skin, sometimes my skin can feel just a little dry. And this primer also has an iridescent pearl finish, which is good on my skin because it tends to brighten my skin. My skin sometimes can appear a little dull, and so I like this primer because it can brighten my skin. Unfortunately, this primer is no longer available. They did discontinue it, so you can't get it, but I know that there are several other primers by other cosmetic companies who make brightening primers. And so now I'm going to be applying my under eye concealer, and the concealer that I'm using is the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer in Warm Olive. Once I realized the name of this, I didn't think it would work for me because it is olive, to me means neutral. However, it does pretty good in lightening up on the area under my eye without making it look too green or gray, since it is neutral. Let that concealer sit for a moment, and now I'm just going to blend it out using my e.l.f. concealer sponge. I love this sponge. It fits right into those little corners up under the eye. It is just perfect for this type of thing. Now I'm applying my NYX Total Control Pro Drop Foundation in Cappuccino. I kind of like this foundation. I didn't think I was gonna like it when I first used it because it dries down kind of matte, and I thought it would dry up my skin too much, but it turns out that I really like it because it doesn't take a whole lot to cover the areas on my face, and it does a good job of covering a lot of the hyperpigmentation and scars on my face. It also allows me to not have to use so much powder when I am setting my makeup because it dries down kind of matte. The color is not a perfect match for me, but I can make it work. I can make it work. Once it starts to oxidize, it's not, it looks a lot better. So I'm just blending it out, and I think if I try it again, I'm going to get maybe a warmer color. But I think for the price and everything, it was a good buy. And like I said, a little goes a long way. I have to often be careful not to use too much on my skin, because a little does go a long way, and it can look a little cakey. So now we're going to get into the eyes. I am going to be using the Makeup Revolution Patricia Bright Rich in Life palette. This is such a versatile palette, and I have really enjoyed using it. It's got everything that you really need for a lot of different eye looks. It has neutrals, it has some pops of color, it's got bluish greens, and it's got the pink, the orange, it's got shimmers and mattes. It doesn't have any glitters, but I'm not really a glitter girl, so that doesn't bother me. And so I'm going to start off with this color, this transition color. The shade is called Brown Sugar, and it really reminds me of the color that Makeup Geek used to have called Cocoa Bear, I believe. And it really was just a beautiful brown shade that was a great transition shade for women of color. And so that's what I'm starting off with. For my highlight, I'm going to be using the shade Natural Glam, I believe is what it's called. And I'm just blending it right under my brow bone. Usually I don't take it close to the beginning of my brow bone, but that's just what I decided to do this time. Not sure why, but that's just how I decided to do it today. And so now I'm just taking a clean, fluffy brush to clean up and just blend out that area where my transition color and my brow bone color connect, just so we won't have a line of demarcation. Next, I'm taking my tapered blending brush and I'm going to apply this color Jet Setter just on the outer V of my eye, the outer corner of my eye, just to add a little bit of depth and dimension to the eyeshadow. I definitely think that these shadows are quite pigmented. It's hard to see it in this video. My lighting wasn't very good. I'm just getting back into this, so I really have to figure out my lighting again. So I think my next video hopefully will be a little bit better than this one has turned out. I did want to just get something up. Please excuse the coughing and the clearing up the throat. I've had congestion since Christmas vacation. And so now I'm just going back in. I'm going onto my eyelid with the shade, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what the shade is called. I have it written down. The shade is, I can't remember what the shade is, but I'm putting it, it's a little bit deeper than the shade that I used for my highlight. And I'm just putting that all over the lid. I love these types of colors, these types of looks, excuse me, because to me, these looks are classy and they're just easy to do. I didn't even have to do the dark color necessarily. I could have just done the transition shade and used the lighter shade on my lid and been done with it. Now I'm just going back into my original transition color with my blending brush and just cleaning that up. And now I am jumping right into my eyeliner. This is the e.l.f. waterproof eyeliner pen in black. And I'm just going to put that on my upper lash line, just to make my lashes look a little thicker at the base. So I'm not doing a wing or anything fancy. I just normally will put black eyeliner on, especially if I'm going to put on lashes. So now I'm going into my my highlight using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in Tan Neutral, and I'm just applying a little bit under my eyes and down the bridge of my nose to brighten up that area of my face just a little bit more. And I'm just going to be using my e.l.f. concealer sponge, I believe. It is damp, and so I'm just going to carefully blend that out, trying not to, you know, spread it too far outside of where I have it. I really like this concealer, this hydrating concealer. It really looks nice on the skin. It really looks nice on the skin. I don't have to and I don't have to set it really that much. Honestly, I don't need a lot of powder. I don't usually put a lot of powder because I don't want to dry out that area and make it look, it'll end up looking cakey if I do that. Now I'm just using my foundation brush to get rid of any lines of demarcation where the concealer and the foundation connect. And now I'm just going to set my concealer with the L'Oreal Hydra Perfect Translucent Powder in the color medium. I've decided to use this powder because it is a hydrating powder, and I'm using my e.l.f. concealer sponge to apply that powder just to make sure that it's that my under eye is set really well. Using this powder, when I use this powder, it doesn't look cakey under my eyes, but it still sets very nice. Excuse me. I'm just taking it on all of that area that I just added concealer to, and I find that as I've gotten older, I don't want to use the more mattifying powders under my underneath my eyes. So this powder is just perfect because it sets without drying my under eye.
Now to set the rest of my face, I'm going to be using the Airspun translucent powder as well as my Laura Mercier powder in medium deep. I like this combination because the medium deep is kind of a little too deep, and so I use the translucent, I feel like, to lighten it up a little bit. I don't know, maybe my thought about that is wrong, but I do it and I like it because it helps my makeup to stay on under my mask. So I'm just buffing that in to the areas of my face where I did not apply concealer. Under my chin, on the bottom parts of my cheek and jaw, and then on my on the upper part of my forehead. And this is my first time pulling my Laura Mercier back out. I hadn't really been using it that much because I felt like it was just giving me too much of a matte finish. But I think it works well under the mask. Like I said, it really helps my makeup to last under the mask. So here I'm taking my e.l.f. concealer sponge again in that Airspun translucent powder, and I'm just highlighting again down the bridge of my nose. I'm also going to be highlighting on the sides of my nose. I do that because I wear glasses at work, and sometimes the glasses can wear the makeup off right there on the sides. But now I'm going to contour using my Cover Effects face. I think it's called the Face Perfect palette. The Cover Effects Perfector face palette in medium deep, and I'm using that contour shade on my cheeks as a bronzer. And it is, you have to be very careful. As you noticed, I put a little bit too much on there, because it is very pigmented. And so I'm just using that on my jaw. I mean, not my jaw, on my cheekbones, excuse me, on my cheekbones. And I will be using this same powder to contour my nose as well. And I'm using it in my temples, as you can see. Now I'm using it just to contour my nose. And I hadn't used this palette. There's a lot of things in my collection that I have not used in a while, because I'll get new things and start using those things. But I've come back to this palette and realized how much I really did like this palette, because it has everything in it that you need for your face. And so this palette contains one contour shade, one blush shade, two highlighters, a brightening powder, and a finishing powder. I haven't really used the brightening and finishing powder since before COVID lockdown, but I do plan on using it more now. So now I'm just using it still to contour my nose. And this contour shade does have a lot of pigment, so I'm trying to be really careful and not put too much on so that it won't be too stark. Now I'm using the highlight shade in the palette. This highlight shade is a little champagne-y color, and it is, I just love this shade because it's so subtle, but it really, to me, it gives you that lit from within look. I've used this shade a lot more than I used the pink highlight, even though, you know, I have used the pink one. They're both really nice shades though. And I just like to try to use it everywhere, on my upper lip, on my nose, on the bridge of my nose. Sometimes I'll try to use it as, or I'll use it as my inner corner highlight. So now I am applying the blush that's in the palette. Again, this is a very nice blush color for women of color. You have to be careful. Everything in this palette is super pigmented. So you do have to go in with a light hand. And I probably should have been using a fluffier brush there, so that I could be a little bit more careful about how much I put on. But you know what? I like blush. so and so sometimes I don't mind that it comes out kind of strong, because your blush fades throughout the day anyway. And so I'm wiping that brush off now so that I can wipe that extra translucent powder from my face. And I saw somebody do this in another video. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Andrea Renee, do that, and she was saying that it kind of helps everything to melt together, and I found that to be very true. So I'm just using that highlight shade that I used on my cheeks in my inner corner. Like I said, I like to use it everywhere. And I did realize that with that little tiny brush, it wasn't really doing anything. So what I did was I took my shader brush and I used my shader brush for that instead, to get more of a pop of color with it. So now I'm just taking that deeper color that I had put on my outer V of my eye lid, and I'm just placing that on my lower lash line, just to again give my look a little bit more dimension. And now to line my lower lash line, I'm using the Jordana, excuse me, the Jordana 12-hour Made to Last eyeshadow pencil in continuous almond. And I'm using this just to kind of open my eyes up. This pencil is kind of fat to use like that, so I was trying to be careful so that I wouldn't get it all over my lashes. I really need to go ahead and get me a regular eye pencil, eyeliner for that. So now we're going to go in with mascara before we put on our falsies. The mascara that I'm using is the excuse me, e.l.f. Studio 3-in-1 mascara. Unfortunately, this mascara is no longer available on the e.l.f. website. I do really like it because the little bulb on the end helps you to really separate your eyelashes, and it also really helps with your bottom lashes as well. And now I'm going to go off camera to put on my falsies. The falsies that I used were the INV So Wispy Lashes in KPE 59. I really just like these because they're so wispy. Now we're gonna do our lip using one of my favorite lip pencils, the Colourpop BFF4 lip pencil. Awesome shade for women of color, and just for anybody really. You can use it with lots of different lipsticks and lip glosses. And I'm using the Juvias Place lipstick in Toffee, and I'm going to top that off with the Juvias Place lip gloss in Sis. I really like this lip combination. I thought at first when I first got the lipstick that it looked a little matronly, but it's kind of grown on me. I just love it as a neutral lipstick. It is just really grown on me. So now, guys, we're gonna get into this hair that needs to be washed, but I didn't feel like washing it at the time, so. I just put some of the Miel Hawaiian Ginger Moisturizer on my hair, and now I'm just parting it down the middle. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just put two flat twists, a flat twist on each side, and on each side of my head, and bobby pin it in the back, and that's going to be it. And so what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to go ahead and play some music for the rest of the video while I do my hair. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, this welcome back neutral eyeshadow video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video if you got something out of it, or if you just enjoyed me just playing in some makeup today. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video. I appreciate it. It really helps me out. And thank you again for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye now.